Hey everyone, welcome back to Crypto Cash. Thank you so much for joining me here today. This is your one-stop shop for cryptocurrency analysis, among other things. Now we're taking a look at XRP. So thank you so much to my community for asking that I go ahead and cover this. You're all very awesome. Just note, before we get started, I'm not a financial advisor. This is for educational purposes only. You should always do your own research. I have years of trading experience, and my goal is just to help teach you to trade for a lifetime, right? With best practice and good entry points. So without further ado, let's check it out. Oops, wait, I'm sorry, I forgot. Link in the description below if you'd like to join my Patreon community, Telegram, Discord channels, etc. It's all down below, as well as $25 in Bitcoin from Voyager. So a nice little option there if you'd like to reference that on your own time. All right, so let's go ahead and get to it. Let's check it out. All right, folks, let's go ahead and take a look at XRP. And this is a big request from my subscribers, so thank you so much for allowing me to look at this and help you, of course, try to help you find a good entry point and best practice. So what we'll do is we'll look at Bitcoin and Ethereum first. Always look at that as a baseline. So if you're new to the channel, we always make sure to understand big picture before we kind of dive into the details of these altcoins, because it's important to know how those other two major coins, that number one and number two, are performing. So looking at Bitcoin first, clarify, I'm using the Binance desktop application through TradingView. So if you want to enable TradingView in the top right hand corner, that's how you do it. And if you would like to follow along and essentially add the moving averages, I use the 200 and the 50-day moving average, just a simple moving average essentially. That is the purple line here is a 200, and the yellow line is the simple moving average, which is a 50, right? So the 50-day moving average, taking a look at this here. As you can see, the price action right now over the last 12 hours has pretty much broke even. So it looks like the price is trying to reject on the moving average, but we could very well likely see an increase above. It'll happen probably sharply, which if you see before here, look at this, ramped up, shot above, shot way below. Like anytime it breaks the moving average, it breaks hard. So we should expect to see either a price up or price down here soon. No real indicator is telling us one way or the other. We truly don't know what will happen yet, but I think that we could see an increase or decrease of course, duh, right, in the near future. But of course, it'll probably be a sharp increase is my guess, if it goes through. So if it does break the 50, that'll hold as a support, hopefully, and then continue upwards. The 50-day moving average is traditionally a pretty good support and resistance level. So if we can get it to stay above, it'll stay above and continue upwards. And if we do that, then we can see it come up to the 42,000 and test that again, see what happens there. But it still has a lot of room for improvement. Of course, we have a resistance at about 40,000 and maybe 41,000. So there's still some room. We truly don't know how it's going to react. But good news is we're right at the 50, and we'll see what happens soon. Moving on to Ethereum, very similar scenario here for Ethereum. In fact, I marked this on my previous analysis, and what it is, it's roughly an estimate of about 2,900 on Ethereum. And what that is, that's basically a major one. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 times it was tested, almost 9 times. So we will see that be tested again soon, I feel, because we're above the 50-day moving average. If Bitcoin can just go sideways for a little while, Ethereum will start to ramp up, and it wouldn't be a surprise if we see this tested the next 24 to 48 hours. And if so, it will likely break soon, because the more often you test a resistance level or support, then the more often it will get broken, right? So it's just like trying to hit a hammer into a door. You're eventually going to get through if you just continue to hit it, right? That's how resistance levels do or work. But the cool thing is once it breaks through, it becomes a super strong support once it's been broken and stays above. So if we can stay above here, we're going to be looking pretty good shape with Ethereum. Other than that, we've got a potential golden cross where the 50-day moving average will continue up, and then the 200 kind of continues over, and that should drive the price up with it. That's essentially the idea. Golden crosses are good because they can bring the price above the 200-day moving average, usually a lot faster, a lot quicker, and kind of help it break that resistance level. All right, so moving on to XRP. Let's take a look at this here. Now, looking at the moving averages, we can see the 200-day moving average worked as a support level previously. And by the way, this is a one-day chart. We jumped from the 4-hour chart to the one-day because I just like to get a big picture and see what's going on. And if we look at the 50-day moving average, look how hard that was broken. Of course, that was the 18th. That was the China candle. Every single resistance support level got broken that day. But that is essentially a pretty long one, pretty big one. Wow, holy cow. I got to wonder what that percent is. Hold on. Eesh, 48% in one day. Now it didn't close that low, of course, but that was still a lot of movement. So very red day, and as you can see, probably one of the larger volume days out there. Volume's tapered off a little, but it looks like it's maybe starting to come back up again. RSI is in good shape, it's still low. It's under 45, which basically means it's currently at its support and resistance level. I don't know if you can see this here, but at 45, like the RSI at 45, it always works as a resistance level. So if it's under 45, it works as a resistance. You see how it bounced off support there, support, and then down below, now it's resistance. It's interesting, but the RSI under 45 can work as a resistance line. Once it goes over 45, it essentially breaks 55, then that works as more of a support level. So just, I don't know, I guess, fun fact, whatever. That's how another little aspect to the RSI. But RSI is in good shape here, and the MACD is starting to swing upwards, so we might see a convergence soon. That would lead us to another slight or potential bull run. It may not be a massive bull run. It really depends on what Bitcoin does, because in my experience with XRP, it really just matters. There's two things. There's obviously Bitcoin driving the price, but it's also investors too. There's a lot of stuff going on there, but with it being in the financial sector, it's no wonder why it was hit so hard with the China candle recently. All right, moving on to the 4-hour charts. Let's take a look at this here. So price is under the 200-day moving average, but above the 50. See, this looks a lot like Bitcoin, right? I mean, most altcoins look like that right now because they're not quite sure what's happening, but the majority of altcoins are getting pushed down by the 50-day moving average. And then, of course, look at how hard it broke through there. It's over the 50 and it's working as a support now. So that's a good sign for XRP. Moving on as well, let's look at the RSI. Fair to Midland, nothing crazy there. It is increasing, but it's not too high. And same with MACD too. Not much to disseminate there because they're kind of averaging out. They're kind of centralizing, and it's really nothing to note. But just bear in mind that the moving average is broken, and that's going to work as a support level moving forward, pending Bitcoin behaving well. Here's the 15-minute chart. This is my favorite chart, but what I do first, of course, is I just remove the moving averages, because the simple moving averages are less effective on shorter time frames, because it's basically an average of the last 50, 200 days. And that doesn't matter as much when we got the price action that's moving a lot quicker on a shorter time frame. So that being said, I always like to enable the volume weighted average price, my favorite indicator out there. It works very well for day traders, can still be effective for swing traders if you use the 15-minute chart to find a good entry. Okay, so the VWAP is essentially a volume weighted average price. It tells you what the volume is expressed as a price in the last 24 hours. So looking at this here, the price right now is above 90. What is that? Is it 99? I mean, we could round up and say $1. It's basically the volume weighted average price tells us the cost of this currency should be $1. Instead, it's at $1.01, so it's only 1 cent above, not a massive variance, it's still in good shape. Looking at the RSI, also very good, nothing to note there. In fact, I'll come back to that. I want to finish this here, this example. Next thing I want to identify is the EMA. So if you're new to my channel, I use the VWAP almost exclusively as well as the EMA line. And the EMA is exponential moving average. I use the 15. Now the industry standards are going to be 9 and 20. I split the difference and just use a 1 instead of 2. I think it makes more sense. It works better for me. So this red line is the EMA line. It works more as a momentum indicator, right? So similar to the MACD, this green line here, it works effectively the same thing. It's a different, slightly different time frame, but it works on the price action, which is nice. So you can see how it's influencing the price instead of converging and diverging, right? So in other words, when you look here, the price is over the EMA. You can tell that we're in really good shape. In other words, it's a bull run, right? And it's bullish, so to speak. Not necessarily a run, but it's a bullish trend, okay? And look at what happens. It tries to break below the EMA, but the VWAP is holding. It comes above, holds, spikes up, tries to reject, but both of these hold. There's a slight variance, but it held. Came up, lost it, right? And at this point, broke way above. So I'm mentioning this because these are really awesome things to tell you if you should take entry or not. Okay, so me, I almost exclusively, again, I use these two things, but I also always look for confirmation. So if you're new to trading and you don't know what confirmation is, it's basically just confirming the price is moving in the direction that you're heading, the price you want to go, which for us is always up because I'm doubting that most of you would like to short. I don't prefer it either. So on a long position, you're betting the price is going to go up. Buy low, sell high. So in this scenario, if you take a look here at these prices, with the price coming up, you want to obviously join the train, right? Or ride the river boat in the direction they're heading, because these industry leaders are controlling the price for the most part, right? We're just the little guys, and we're trying to get in the same direction they're heading. So if they're going up, we want to go up with them. Well, the best way to identify that is to ensure the price is above both the VWAP and the EMA line. That's check number one. Okay, so looking here, price above EMA, price above VWAP, great, good news. What's my confirmation? Confirmation for me is 30 minutes. I want to wait 30 minutes, no less than 30 minutes, to ensure the price is confirming. In other words, two 15-minute green bars that are closing above the EMA and the VWAP line, I want to ensure I see that before I take entry. Okay, so take a look at here. I got these two here, for example. Let me zoom in for you. So just kind of an example. Again, it's easy to pick here, of course, because it's happening. It's already happened, so I know I recognize that. But this almost always, if you look back and you look at the history of how things are working, and you see this kind of confirmation, it almost always continues up. So here's the great thing about this. Say, for example, you took entry here, right? Because these two green bars closed above the EMA and the VWAP line. This one did too, but it started below, so I prefer to take one that closes above, or opens above, rather. So just say we're looking at this here, right? We got these two, and you took entry right here. You take your position. You maybe take a 20 to 30% position. Don't go all in. The main reason why is because it could reverse on you, and you don't want to be all out that much. Your risk tolerance should be no less than a 3-to-1 ratio. So look at this here. The price comes up, right? Look how it comes over and it tries to reject, and it bounces off this EMA line and shoots straight up. That's a very common thing on a bullish trend, right? So the fact that you got confirmation the price is heading the direction you want, and you all got your second confirmation because the price came up and bounces off of this line here. Phenomenal. That's exactly what you're looking for. And then what you do is you continue to hold until the price, the RSI, comes up and then comes back down. And what I mean by that, you see the RSI peaks up over 70 here. So had you sold your position at this point here, you wouldn't have gotten all this extra gains, right? Now, it's not a ton, but it definitely helps. So just say, for example, you took entry at this point, or correction, right here, and then you sold at this point. You would have got yourself a 3% gain. That's awesome, by the way. I love a 3% gain. That's what I shoot for. I shoot for losing 1% potentially and gaining 3%, if not more, right? So that's a 3-to-1 ratio. That's awesome. That's great risk tolerance, great risk management here. That being said, that wouldn't be terrible. So you got out right as soon as the RSI peaks over 70. Not bad. That's kind of an amateur mistake, because when you do that, you do leave meat on the bone, right? The best thing to do is wait for the RSI to start tapering off and coming back down, and or passing the range of 70 again. So we see this here. Sorry, one sec. There we go. Let's add that guy there. This is roughly where you could have got out at, right? When the RSI comes back down. Okay, so let's just do a quick measure of that. What does that look like for that? That is a 5.5% gain. So would you rather 5.5% or 3%, right? That's what a little bit of patience will do you. And again, bear in mind that patience you need is a full 1 to almost 2 hours, okay? So something like this is not for the weak. If you're impatient, you can't handle waiting to see these indicators form and to tell you what they need to, then you're probably not in the right industry. Go ahead and hodl. That's okay. You can still apply this while hodling because of the fact that you can find a good entry point, right? Use this to find a good entry. But if you're going to do this day in and day out, which I have done time and time again, I can tell you that this is the right way to go. Okay. So just something to note. So if you were to apply that moving forward, hypothetically, you'd wait for 2 solid green bars above EMA and VWAP, which coincidentally we have right now. And we're looking to be in pretty good shape because look, RSI is under 70. So I would consider an entry in this point, but here's the thing you want to note first. We want to see if there's any support and resistance levels. Obviously, we got a pretty strong resistance at 102, right? But we can even go a little further. This one's been tested multiple times here as well at about 103. So I'd say 103 is probably a pretty safe number. So what we do in this scenario here is if you're to take entry, take a small position. Take that small position, ride it out, because you're above EMA and VWAP. That's great. See where it goes. If it comes up here and rejects, consider taking a profit. If it comes up here and breaks above and holds for no less than 30 more minutes, two 15-minute green bars, then you might want to consider writing it out and or adding to your position. Okay. So these are just things that I do to make myself profitable. Keep in mind, I still have losing trades, but my risk tolerance is no more than 1%. So I never lose more than 1% of what I put out on the line, and I set a stop limit. You should always do the same thing. Okay. Do yourself a favor and set a stop limit as soon as you take an entry. And obviously make sure you pay attention and have good risk management and don't get in willy-nilly. Think about it before you act. It's important. Like, the best part of being a trader is to plan and to try to hit a goal, right? If you're not setting goals, you're not doing yourself a service. You might get lucky a few times, but you're going to get very unlucky a few too many more times. And that's going to burn you and leave you very sad and upset in the state of, what is it, FUD? So we don't want to be FUDs, right? We want to be happy, we want to be good traders. That's the whole point of this. So thanks for watching, appreciate you. Quickly before you leave, I want to just let you know also I'm starting I already have a Patreon account, of course. Show your support if you'd like and join my Discord channel. But I'm going to have basically a premium Patreon account for my subscribers that would like to consider joining. And that's going to offer you signals. So it's going to be signal groups and, of course, some opportunity where I can give you some good buy signals, sell signals, stop limits, good risk tolerance, good risk management. These are all things that I'm going to implement so I can help my community, because I get a lot of requests for this. So that's going to be one of my next steps here. You should expect that here in the next couple weeks. Also within next week, likely next weekend, because I kind of failed this last weekend, I'm going to do some live streams and start doing that weekly to ensure that we help give you some active, more up-to-date technical analysis. Those will probably be on the weekends, and then eventually, once this, if I get more support and get more subscribers, I'm eventually going to make this a full-time thing, and you'll see live streams likely every day. That's the goal. Hopefully by year end, I want to hit that goal and see if we can get there. So in 6 months, I would love to get to that point, and I'd love to have you along with me too. So thank you all so much for joining me here today. Hope you have a great rest of your day. We'll see you in the next video. Take care.